Hello and welcome. I am Thomas Porteus and you are watching The World Report. Let's take a look at the top headlines this hour. Wildfires continue to devastate Los Angeles, with authorities struggling to contain the flames. New wind warnings have been announced that could lead to the spread of destruction throughout the Southern California region. South Korea reports over 300 North Korean soldiers have died fighting against Ukraine. President Zelensky offers to exchange captured North Korean troops for Ukrainians held in Russia. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and US President Joe Biden report progress in ceasefire negotiations. Meanwhile, Israel's airstrikes on southern Lebanon threaten to undermine the ceasefire deal. The US, Japan and the Philippines agree to a trilateral partnership. This comes as China's influence in the South China Sea heats up, further complicating regional relations. The war between Russia and Ukraine has developed drastically with the recent involvement of North Korean troops. Seoul has now reported on fatalities and injuries of the North Korean soldiers fighting for Russia. Meanwhile, Ukrainian president has proposed a prisoners exchange with captured North Korean soldiers. Here is a detailed report.
South Korea's National Intelligence Service has claimed that at least 300 North Korean soldiers have been killed and another 2,700 wounded fighting in Russia's Kursk Oblast. The NIS attributed the high casualties to the soldiers' lack of understanding of modern warfare, including their useless attempts to shoot down long-range drones. The NIS reported that North Korea has allegedly forced its soldiers to kill themselves to avoid capture by Ukrainian troops. The NIS remarks follow President Volodymyr Zelensky's recent claim that North Korean forces fighting alongside Russian troops have suffered 4,000 casualties, both killed and wounded. Over the weekend, Zelensky also said Kyiv had captured 2 North Korean soldiers who are interrogated in assistance with South Korea.
Ви хочете повернутися назад в Північну Корею? Так. Я хочу жити в Україні.
In an update on the same, Zelensky proposed a prisoner exchange to North Korea.
Кім Чен Ін взагалі пам'ятає про цих своїх громадян і може організувати обмін на наших воїнів, які утримуються в Росії. Ми можемо передавати таких солдатів.
He added that for North Korean soldiers who do not wish to return, other options may be available. On the other hand, Russia continues its advances in Ukrainian territory. On Sunday, Russia claimed it had captured 2 villages in eastern Ukraine, where its forces have been steadily advancing for months. The Russian Defense Ministry said that soldiers have captured the village of Yantan in the eastern Donetsk region a day after it claimed the capture of a new territory northwest of Kurakov. The war keeps taking shocking twists and turns with each passing day. It is now to be seen what the conclusion would look like, especially with the new US administration preparing to take over. Bureau Report, NewsX.
Let's now take a look at some news updates across Europe. Voters in Croatia have re-elected Zoran Milanovic for a second term. This came as he won almost 3/4 of votes cast in the country's presidential elections. It was a dismal result for his opponent, Dragan Privoric. Privoric received 25% of the vote, the worst ever result for Croatia's most powerful political force. He declined to congratulate the winner and insisted Milankovic offers nothing. Milankovic said he would offer a hand to the Prime Minister. The French Indian Ocean territory of Mayotte has been bit by further heavy rains, leading to flooding and mudslides. At least 14,500 people have taken refuge in emergency shelters set to protect them from the storm. The archipelago was put on the highest state of alert on Sunday morning. Officials said it was likely the island would remain on red alert until Monday morning. This is because heavy rain was expected to continue even after the storm had passed. Russia said it had downed 9 Ukrainian drones. Zelensky's military was targeting the infrastructure of the Turk Stream gas pipeline. This Russian gas line flows through Turkey and Europe. The Russian Defense Ministry said the attack was aimed against a compressor station. Falling fragments from one drone caused minor damage to the building and equipment. However, the facility was working normally and there was no casualties. A nationwide strike in protest against possible pension reforms crippled air and rail traffic in Belgium. Almost half of all flights at Brussels airport were cancelled. This came as luggage handlers, security and other ground staff went on strike. The national train operator said it was running only a limited number of trains throughout the country. Public transport in the capital Brussels was also heavily impacted. Schools were shut and tens of thousands of teachers expected to join a national rally in Brussels. A man in his 60s has been arrested in Ireland following the seizure of cannabis. The loot was worth around $366,000 and took place at Dublin Airport. The drugs were seized by customs officers after a man was searched at the airport. The man was detained at a police station in Dublin. Officers said the drugs will be sent for forensic analysis and added that investigations are ongoing. In Ireland, a woman locally named as Anne Heineman was found dead in County Cavan. She has been described as a popular, highly regarded woman. It's been said that she worked for the good of the local community. Fianna Fáil politician Brendan Smith said she had been involved over the years in community projects. A murder investigation has been launched after her body was found in County Cavan. The death toll from massive wildfires that have ravaged Los Angeles rose to 24 on Sunday, with official warnings of incoming dangerous winds that could whip up the blazes further. Fires continue to spread through the United States' second largest city for 6 days, destroying entire neighborhoods and leaving thousands homeless. While there are questions being raised at the government, the local authorities and the governor is being heavily scrutinized. No one's claimed responsibility yet. Let's take a look at the report.
Firefighters struggle to make further progress against the devastating wildfire, which has destroyed thousands of homes and killed 24 people in Los Angeles. Winds up to 70 miles per hour mean a particularly dangerous situation will be declared from early Tuesday, said National Weather Service meteorologist Rose Schoenfeld. The firefighters have warned that these gusts could fan flames and whip up embers from existing burn zones into new areas. Meanwhile, there is a massive search for the bodies of the deceased. Teams with cadaver dogs were carrying out grid searches with the grim expectation that the confirmed death toll would rise. A heroic firefighting operation that has operated 24/7 since the first flames erupted was bolstered Sunday with the arrival of crews from Mexico. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky on Sunday even offered to send 150 personnel to California from his war-ravaged country. As per reports, while the ignition of a wildfire can be deliberate, a huge investigation by federal and local authorities was underway to determine what caused the blazes. Meanwhile, the sudden rush of people needing somewhere to live has posed a growing problem for the city. However, the total number of residents under evacuation orders dropped to around 100,000, from a peak of almost 180,000. Bureau Report, NewsX.
Let's now take a look at some news updates from the Indo-Pacific region. Malala Yousafzai has urged Muslim leaders to confront Afghanistan's Taliban over repressive policies on women. At a Pakistan summit on girls' education, Malala said the Taliban's actions show women are not seen as human beings. She slammed their policies as gender apartheid and un-Islamic. The Nobel Prize winner added that the Taliban punish women defying their rules with violence and detentions. The Taliban invited to the summit did not attend or comment. The conference brought together ministers and scholars from Muslim nations to advocate for girls' education. Japan's Foreign Minister Takeshi Iwaya is in Seoul for key talks with South Korean officials ahead of Donald Trump's inauguration. Iwaya will meet his counterpart Cho Tae-yul and acting President Choi Sang-mok. Discussions will focus on trilateral ties with the US and security cooperation, including responses to North Korean missile threats. The meeting comes amid political unrest in South Korea after President Yoon Suk-yeol's failed martial law attempt and impeachment. Japan's Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba says Tokyo is watching the situation closely. A Myanmar junta airstrike hit a market in Kachin state, killing at least 15 civilians and injuring 10, according to the Kachin Independence Army. The victims included gold miners and shopkeepers, with the attack occurring Saturday morning. Kachin state has faced heavy fighting since the 2021 coup, with the Kia battling for autonomy and supporting resistance forces. Separately, the Arakan army reported junta airstrikes in Rakhine state, leaving several civilians dead or injured. Myanmar remains in turmoil, with ethnic groups gaining territory and resisting military rule. Indian troops killed 5 Maoist rebels during a gunfight in Chhattisgarh, Bijpur district, officials said Sunday. The dead included 3 men and 2 women, with weapons like rifles and grenade launchers recovered. In a separate blast, a homemade landmine injured 2 policemen in the same district. The decades-long Maoist insurgency has claimed over 10,000 lives. India's government has intensified operations, killing 287 rebels in 2024 and vowing to end the conflict by 2026. South Korea will change airport concrete barriers after the deadly Jeju air crash that killed 179 people. The Boeing 737-800 crash landed at Muan Airport on December the 29th, exploding after hitting a concrete barrier. The government will modify 9 facilities across 7 airports, including Muan, Jeju and Jimhae. Investigations continue, with the black boxes stopping 4 minutes before the crash. The closure of Muan Airport has been extended until January the 19th. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi opened a strategic tunnel in disputed Kashmir on Monday. The 6.5-kilometre Z-Morph tunnel connects Sonmarg to Ladakh, ensuring year-round access to the region. The $932 million project includes roads, bridges, a second tunnel set to be completed in 2026. Heavy snowfall often isolates Sonmarg and Ladakh for months each year. The inauguration was marked by tight security, with police and troops deployed for Modi's visit. The Mahakumbh 2025 has kicked off in Prayagraj, drawing millions to the sacred Triveni Sangam for the first holy dip. Let's take you there for a closer look.
The Kumbh Mela, the world's largest spiritual gathering, is set to begin in Prayagraj, India, where the Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati rivers converge. This historic event, rooted in Hindu mythology, is anticipated to draw nearly 400 million devotees, making it an unparalleled cultural and economic phenomenon. The origins of the Kumbh Mela lie in the ancient Hindu tale of the Samudra Manthan, or the churning of the ocean, where drops of the sacred nectar of immortality spilled across 4 cities: Prayagraj, Haridwar, Ujjain and Nashik. These places have since become sacred sites for the festival, which rotates among them every 12 years. Prayagraj holds special significance as the site of the Triveni Sangam, a confluence of rivers believed to be imbued with divine power. This year's Mahakumbh is particularly auspicious, with planetary alignments mirroring those from 144 years ago. Astrologers and seers have called this a rare cosmic event.
इससे बड़ी गैदरिंग पूरे विश्व में कहीं नहीं होती है और उससे भी बड़ी बात है कि इसका कोई इनविटेशन किसी को नहीं जाता। पीपल यहाँ पर आते हैं, जो श्रद्धालु आते हैं वो बिना किसी इनविटेशन के या बिना किसी के कहे हुए आते हैं।
Pilgrims flock for the holy dip, believed to wash away sins and bring salvation. But the event also raises concerns about sanitation and river pollution. Experts warn of health risks, overcrowding, and environmental concerns. Past tragedies, like the 1954 stampede, remain stark reminders of the need for meticulous crowd management.
The hygiene of the water was definitely a concern. I even brought it up to my mother. I was like, I don't want to spend too much time, because I've learned about it in school. I've learned about it because I want to be a biologist, doctor type stuff. So I've learned about the parasites and the pollutants that are present within the ecosystem.
The Mahakumbh is not just a spiritual epicenter but an economic juggernaut. With 40 crore attendees expected, Experts project an economic impact exceeding 4 lakh crore rupees, bolstered by pilgrim spending and branding opportunities.
हाँ, एक शहर तो यहाँ बसाया ही जाता है। उसके निमित्त जब यहाँ हम लोग एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं पूरे समय में करीब 35 से 40 करोड़ श्रद्धालु यहाँ आते हैं पूरे मेला अवधि में, तो उसमें उनके लिए आने और उनके सकुशल जाने के और उनका एक अनूठा एक्सपीरियंस के लिए शहर को तैयार करना ही पड़ता है। इस मेले में इस बार जो है ये चीज़ें 2.5 साल पहले से करीब तैयारियाँ शुरू हुई हैं, जिसमें प्रयागराज शहर के इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर को स्ट्रेंथन करना रहा।
From steel giants like SAIL supplying 45,000 tonnes of material to global brands allocating over 3,000 crore rupees for marketing, the Mahakumbh is a melting pot of tradition and modern commerce. The Kumbh Mela transcends borders, attracting visitors from around the globe. It is a celebration of faith, unity and cultural diversity, reflecting India's rich heritage while showcasing its modern capabilities to host an event of such magnitude. A blend of spirituality and modernity, the Mahakumbh Mela stands as a testament to India's unparalleled cultural legacy. Bureau Report, NewsX.
Now let's take a look at some important news from the business world. Asian markets tumbled on Monday after an outsized US jobs report was released. The report dealt another blow to hopes for more US interest rate cuts, as the data showed US economy created over 256,000 jobs last month. This exceeded the forecast of 160,000. US tech giant Apple is alleged to be abusing the dominant position of its App Store in the United Kingdom. The complaint was filed in May 2021 by King's College London academics and accuses Apple of breaching European and UK competition laws by excluding other app stores from iOS devices. The trial is opening on Monday and plaintiffs are seeking over £1 billion in compensation. Chinese exports surged to a record high in 2024, providing a boost for the economy. It comes before US President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration and the prospect of him imposing strict tariffs. Overseas shipments represented a rare bright spot for Beijing last year. Sluggish domestic consumption and a prolonged crisis in the property sector limited growth. UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer is due to outline an action plan to make the UK a world leader in artificial intelligence. His Labour administration said AI would be unleashed across the country, with the full weight of its 500,000 civil servants getting behind the endeavour. Italy's ITA Airways resumed direct flights to Libya's Tripoli on Sunday. ITA Airways becomes the first airline from a major Western European nation to do so after a 10-year pause due to civil war in the North African country. In rural China, a sculptor has created a Buddha-like statue of Donald Trump. The porcelain figures, selling between $140 and $2,700 US, first gained attention in 2021. Designer Hong Jinshi says the statues were a joke, but are now attracting serious interest ahead of Trump's second term. Each figure comes with packaging that plays on Trump's MAGA slogan, "Make your company great again." These statues have even appeared on platforms like Amazon and Temu in the US. In a virtual meeting, US President Joe Biden and his counterparts from Japan and the Philippines discussed strengthening trilateral cooperation. The leaders focused on maritime security, economic ties, and China's actions in the South China Sea. Here is a report.
USA President Joe Biden met virtually with his counterparts from Japan and Philippines to advance cooperation among three countries, the White House said. As per a White House statement, the three leaders discussed trilateral maritime security and economic cooperation. Biden, who will step down next Monday, was quoted as saying he is optimistic about his successor Donald Trump, that he would see the value of continuing the partnership. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos said that he is confident the three countries will sustain the gains in deepening their diplomatic ties. The White House said the three leaders discussed China's dangerous and unlawful behavior in South China Sea. They also agreed on the importance of continued coordination in the Indo-Pacific region. A 2016 ruling of an international tribunal voided Beijing's sweeping claims for South China Sea, saying they had no basis under international law. Tensions between China and Philippines have escalated in the past 2 years over run-ins between their coast guards in the South China Sea. Bureau Report, NewsX.
Now let's take a look at some news updates across North America. The Biden administration unveiled a framework to regulate exports of advanced computer chips pivotal for AI development, citing national security concerns. The plan aims to restrict access in 120 countries, including Mexico and Israel, to chips used in data centers and gaming, sparking opposition from tech executives over potential global supply chain disruptions. Commerce Secretary Gino Raimondo emphasized the need to preserve US AI leadership, while critics fear rushed policies may harm competitiveness. The framework includes a 120-day comment period, leaving final decisions to the incoming Trump administration. Blue Origin's New Glenn project debut was called off due to technical issues just before liftoff. The 320-foot rocket set to launch from Cape Canaveral, but faced delays. Fuel was drained as controllers paused the countdown. Founder Jeff Bezos, present at Mission Control, assured continued efforts. A new launch date is pending. Reality TV star Trace Chrisley is accused of assaulting a bar manager in Atlanta. Allegedly drunk, he slapped the manager twice after refusing to leave a Twin Peaks restaurant. Chrisley, 28, was charged with simple battery and released on a $10,000 bond. His parents, Todd and Julie Chrisley, are currently in prison for fraud and tax evasion. A 30-year-old Louisiana man is in custody for the fatal stabbings of his 1-year-old son, his sister, and 10-year-old son in Amity. The family reported that he was battling schizophrenia and started hearing voices a day before the incident. Relatives claim their plea for his inpatient treatment was denied, with the hospital adjusting his medication instead. Family members blame the mental health system for failing to intervene, leading to this tragic outcome. Authorities confirmed the victims were deceased upon arrival and the suspect remains in custody pending legal proceedings. Byhalia police officer William Langham has been suspended without pay following a high-speed chase that ended in a crash, killing 3 people. The January 4th pursuit of an SUV left the driver and 2 passengers in a pickup truck dead, with 1 injured. Langham denies wrongdoing, stating he acted within policy. The crash, which occurred on a narrow road, has reignited debates about the dangers of police pursuits. Relatives of the victims have questioned the necessity of the chase. That is all we have time for. We will be back with more international news updates.